Welcome to the Theodore Saloutos Award. Tonight, it is given to Professor Sharon Gerstel, the acting director of the UCLA Stavros Niarchos Foundation Center for the Study of Hellenic Culture and professor of Byzantine Art and Archaeology at the University of California in Los Angeles. As we know, the Theodore Saloutos Award is named after the late UCLA professor who founded and presided over the Save Cyprus Council, later becoming the American Hellenic Council. Professor Saloutos has said, quote, "Our professors not only teach history, but they also make it," end quote. This award honors distinguished members of the Hellenic American community and Philhellenes for their extraordinary devotion to Hellenism, to its ideals, to its tradition, to its culture. Tonight, we could not have a better candidate than Professor Gerstel. I would again like to invite Governor Michael Dukakis to say a few words in introducing Professor Gerstel, after which we will see a brief video and give the award. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Michael Dukakis.
Thanks, Dmitry. I have had the great good fortune to get to know and work with Sharon. And she's remarkable, folks. Tough, strong, tenacious, raising millions of dollars to make this center possible is not an easy job. And a few of us have been trying to help her, but she's the guiding spirit behind this. And she's done a remarkable job in getting this center up and moving. Some of you have been part of that and have been generous in your gifts. If any of the rest of you here want to make a contribution to this center, it'll be gratefully received. But without Sharon, we wouldn't be off the ground. So as a colleague on the faculty at UCLA, and more importantly, a friend, it's a real honor for me to introduce her to you. Sharon, where are you?
My name is Sharon Gerstel. I'm a daughter, a mother, a scholar, a teacher, and acting director of the Stavros Niarchos Foundation Center for the Study of Hellenic Culture. For 30 years, I've been involved in work in Greece, in teaching the history of Greece to over 7,000 students. I grew up in New York. I made a decision from high school to go to a college that was very unusual for my high school, and that was to go to Bryn Mawr College, which was a women's college in Pennsylvania. But when I was there, I had a wonderful professor who stuttered, and the first course I took with him about medieval Greek history, the stutter disappeared. And I knew there was something really special about that period, just in the way his whole body changed. His name was Charles Brand, and he died a few years ago, and he became my first mentor. And in fact, the library behind me was given to me by him. And in each of the books he gave me is an inscription to me telling me why the book is important. In my second year, I applied for a grant and I got the grant. And that changed my life because it was almost a sign about which path my life should take. And the grant was to go to Greece to study medieval Greek in a Greek university. And so from there I went and lived in Greece for a year in the city of Thessaloniki to study Greek at the Modern Greek Institute. And my life was changed. It was as if I'd been reborn, going to a country that I knew so well from its history, but I didn't know the people. And it was that engagement with the people that really changed things for me. The first time I went to the Mani was by moped, and I remember turning up in a village in the Mani, and there were a group of grandmothers sitting around as they do in the Mani, all dressed in black, and one looked up at me and said, "Who are you?" And I said my name, and she said, "Well, are you married?" Which always the first question is, are you married? And then if you're not married, subsequently, would you like to have a husband here? Was always the next question. So that was my first experience in the Mani, and I fell in love with it. And most of my research for the last 20 years has been on the Mani. Probably the work I'm proudest of is the book that won the Runciman Prize, and also the prize called the Maria Theoharis Prize. This book is called Rural Lives and Landscapes of Late Byzantium, and it starts with the story of my engagement with an elderly woman named Kanela Yorgopoulou, and the fact that we walked for miles across the hot countryside of the Mani with our legs bleeding because the thistles had cut into our legs, and we talked about her life and the life of the village. And when we parted at the end of the day, she said, "When I die, who will tell the story of my village?"
Η τελευταία προσπάθεια της Sharon, απόρρια της μόνιμης εγρήγορσής της για να προλάβει τις καταστροφικές συνέπειες του χρόνου πάνω σε αναντικατάστατα μνημεία του τόπου, τα οποία ίδια προσωπικά είχε αναλύσει, αλλά και τη συγκίνηση που την καταλάμβανε, γιατί βλέποντας την προσπάθεια και την αυταπάτηση των απλών ανθρώπων να διασώσουν τα παράγοντα. Έκανε λοιπόν και κάνει, συνεχίζει να προσπαθεί να συνεγείρει συνειδήσεις και να βοηθήσει με όλους τους τρόπους και με οικονομικούς να συντηρηθεί και να ανακαινιστεί η απειλούμενη, πολύ γνωστή εκκλησία των Αγίων Θεοδόρων στην Πάπακα. Στην Πάπακα και στην εκκλησία της, σαν να ήταν η γη το γονιό της. Και την προσπάθεια αυτή τη συνεχίζει ακάματη και σήμερα. Εμείς οι Μανιάτες χρωστάμε πάρα πολλά στη Sharon και την ευχαριστούμε για όλα αυτά τα οποία έχει κάνει και τα οποία συνεχίζει να κάνει.
Η ποιότητα της Sharon φαίνεται και από τον τρόπο που χειρίστηκε το χρηματικό κομμάτι του βραβείου Μαρίας Θεοχάρη που της έδωσε η Χριστιανική Αρχαιολογική Εταιρεία. Ένα βραβείο και μια εταιρεία που σημαίνει πολλά για αυτήν, ως σχεδόν Ελληνίδας βυζαντινολόγου. Αυτά τα χρήματα λοιπόν τα υπερδιπλασίασε και ζήτησε να δίνονται για τα επόμενα έτη σε νέους πρωτοεμφανιζόμενους Έλληνες βυζαντινολόγους, προκειμένου να υποστηριχθεί το έργο τους, ίσως η αρχή της καριέρας τους. Είναι κάτι που δεν το βλέπουμε συχνά και είναι και μια ευαισθησία που δείχνει ότι θυμάται και την εποχή που ξεκίνησε η ίδια και που τα πράγματα ήταν δύσκολα και ζούσε δίπλα μας.
In the last few years, with the award money that I won for my book, in fact, I turned the money back to the organization and established an award to give funds to younger scholars to continue to work in this direction. So I think it's, again, not just being a scholar separated from the people, but a scholar who is immersed in the world of the people that I study. It's not for me any longer an easy separation between what I write and who I am. Suddenly they've, in the last 5 or so years, been fused together. So 2 years ago, UCLA made an application to the Stavros Niarchos Foundation to start a center for the study of Hellenic culture that would not only highlight scholarship on the Greek world, but would also, more importantly in my opinion, engage the local community in learning about their history, thinking creatively about their Hellenism, and in also creating a center where people could meet each other. So thinking about the villages as a whole and uniting people across different groups, as I do in my own research, is something I've tried to do in thinking about the various groups in LA. The people from one region or another, the people that may have one political view or another, we all have a common goal, and that is to promote Hellenism.
AHC, I would like to invite Dr. Jim Dimitriou to present the award, after which we'll hear comments from Dr. Gerstel.
It's a It's a very special honor for me in the tradition of Dr. Theodore Saloutos, our mentor, our leader, author of The Greeks of the United States, of They Remember America, to the future of Hellenism in America. Sharon, I'm very proud to give this to you.
Thank you. I have to say I'm a little overwhelmed and also a little cold. I'm humbled and honored to stand before you this evening. Thank you to the board of the American Hellenic Council for selecting me to receive this year's Theodore Saloutos Award, an honor named after an esteemed member of the UCLA Department of History, a true leader in the Southern California Hellenic community, and a path-breaking contributor to the study of Hellenic American culture. Unlike Ted Saloutos, I did not have the luck to be born a Greek, but I have had the advantage of becoming Greek through the adoption of its culture. Like many Greeks, I grew up in my dad's restaurant, helping my grandmother at the cash register. And during Mesimeri, when my grandfather went home for a nap, I would pore over a book that my grandmother had, images of the ruins of ancient Greek temples with plastic overlays that would show you the glories of an ancient culture. My grandparents brought this book home from me from a memorable trip they took to Greece together with an Amalia doll, which was my prized possession. So even though I had no Greek roots, Greeks entered my life from a very early age, and it stuck. It stuck through years of studying Byzantine art and culture. It stuck through 5 years of living in Thessaloniki and 25 years of working in Laconia. And it has stuck through attempting, with all of your help, to create a center for the study of Hellenic culture at the University of California in Los Angeles. So this evening, I stand before you proud to call myself a Greek. And in so doing, I would remind you of the words of the ancient Greek rhetorician Isocrates, words which I saw every day for a year inscribed over the entrance to the Gennadius Library in Athens. Those are called Hellenes, who are partakers of our culture, our pedia. But I like to think of the process of my becoming Greek in a far more simple way, in a way that villagers in the Mani have explained to me for years. Epina to nero. This has been quite a year for our Hellenic community, and it's worth reflecting for a moment again on last year's gala, when 2 UCLA graduates, Aris Anagnos and Kelly Vlahakis Hanks, stood in this very spot to receive very well-deserved awards. I, for one, will never forget the strength and tenacity of Aris Anagnos as he walked to the stage, supported by his friend Andreas Kyprianidis. It was a moment that touched us all. In my view, and in the view of many last year, these awards were an important moment for UCLA and for Hellenism in Southern California. In a long and beautiful phone call, Aris Anagnos told me that it was his dream to see a Hellenic center established at UCLA. And Kelly Vlahakis Hanks beautifully and passionately described the same year at last year's gala. This evening, I'm honored to sit with the Anagnos family, Demos, Carol, John, and Aris, and to call them friends. And I'm also honored to have gotten to know Kelly and to think collectively about what our center means for Southern California. Both of these giants, Aris and Kelly, have inspired and continue to inspire us through their singular visions and their important and ongoing legacies, and we have much to thank them for. So this has been quite a year for our Hellenic community, and this year we have to acknowledge some changes that have broad implications for our community. For me, the death of Spiros Vrionis, my own professor a few weeks ago, signaled an end to a glorious moment in the study of Byzantine history and the passing of a founding member of the American Hellenic Council. This year also saw the retirement of Dimitrios Liapas, whose work both in the community and at LMU in sustaining the Kaloyeras Center must be continued by all of us. But we also have much to celebrate as a community this year. On May 5th, we will gather at the premiere of the New Greek Americans, 1960 to 2018, the third film created by the hardworking members of the Greek Heritage Society. Let us congratulate and thank the leaders of this organization here tonight who are completing their task of documenting the rich history of our community. Well deserved. And let us celebrate the continuing success of the Los Angeles Greek Film Festival, which is now connected to an important initiative to forge close connections between the film industry and the Greek nation. At UCLA, we are proud, through our collaboration with Aris Katapodis and his amazing team, to host the opening of the festival on June 3rd. And we are proud, with the help of the Onassis Foundation, to bring the Greek film director Tassos Voulmetis to teach at UCLA in the fall. Let us celebrate the success of the Pan-Arcadian Federation for their sustained support of the Pan-Arcadian Hospital in Tripolis, and let us support the Federation at its celebration of the Alousis Tris Tripolitsas on September 28th in Anaheim. Our community is strong. We have amazing Icarians, Cretans, and real Macedonians, all making a difference in Southern California and in Greece. And the work of the Hellenic Society of Constantinople is never more relevant than today, as Hagia Sophia, the great church, the most important symbol of Orthodoxy, is once again threatened, and as the Patriarchate moves to reopen the theological school at Halki. This year, we need to celebrate the addition of new members to our community, people who bring strength, enthusiasm, and vision to Southern California. Most importantly, our amazing Consul General, Evgenia Beniatoglu, who has brought new energy intelligence, and passion to her position. We welcome Simos Zenios, my brilliant new colleague in Greek language and culture, Christiana Kondu, the new executive director of the American Hellenic Council, who did such a great job this evening. And Lillian and Lee Polydor, +1, who have now settled in Los Angeles, bringing their spirit of entrepreneurship and cultural engagement. Your presence enriches our community. It strengthens all of us. So this year, as I stand before you, things are looking a little bit different to me than they did when I applauded the award winners last year. There are changes, some of them sad to be sure, but there's also enormous optimism about the future of this community, about our power together. I think that we, Hellenes and Philhellenes on the West Coast, are poised to make an enormous impact on the country and beyond. We are set to formalize on the West Coast an organization of Greek women, a group that had its first meeting only a few weeks ago, and this group of women will not only be the necks, but also the heads. Yeah. And in a year of women, we will also celebrate at UCLA the US premiere of The Lady of Rho, Ikiratis Rho, which will bring the renowned Greek actress Fotini Baksevani into our community for performances on January 31st and February 1st, 2020. And I believe in this year of Greek power, we will also launch a new center for the study of Hellenic culture. This UCLA Stavros Niarchos Foundation Center for the Study of Hellenic Culture will open because members of this community support the creation of something new, something original, a center cited at the #1 public university in the nation with all its academic resources and intellectual giants, but one that looks beyond the walls of the academy to partner with the community. It is a center for all of us, and this partnership of university and community has been seen by many people outside of Los Angeles who are just now beginning to follow this model, copying already what we've started to do. This is not a center I can create by myself. Of course, I have the strong support of my dean, David Skalberg, and my colleagues here this evening. And of course, I need to thank Governor Mike Dukakis, the Honorable Consul General of Cyprus, Andreas Kyprianidis, and Father John Bacchus for their advice and support throughout this process. But there are also members of the community who have been by my side and who have established endowments to help graduate students to travel to Greece, to support undergraduate students who are leaders in Hellenism and environmental studies, and to fund the performing arts. Peter and Vivi Dimopoulos, Kelly Vlachakis-Hanks, Peter Kaloyeras and Caroline Bells Kaloyeras, Dimos and Caroline Agnos, Daphne Valentina, and so many others. They all deserve a round of applause. And there have been organizations as well that have made important contributions to our center, including the Pan-Arcadian Federation, the Hellenic University Club, and the Cretan Omonia. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening, I want to acknowledge for the first time a very special set of donors, George and Tina Kolovos and their family, who have, in the last month, established the George P. Kolovos Family Centennial Chair in Hellenic Studies, one of the few chairs devoted to Hellenic studies in this country. And I'd like to ask George and Tina. Ευχαριστώ θερμά, συμπατριώτε. And so we have much to celebrate. And in receiving this award, I can honestly say that this award is not for me. It is for all of you who have welcomed me and my daughter so warmly into your community. This community is energized. I can feel it in the room this evening. Let us complete the matching funds. We're nearly there. And open the UCLA Stavros Niarchos Foundation Center for the Study of Hellenic Culture. Let us help sustain the LMU Kaloyeras Center. Let us sell out the Greek Heritage Society premiere. Let us continue to make the Los Angeles Greek Film Festival the premier showcase for films from Greece and Cyprus. Let us support the Pan-Arcadian Hospital in Tripolis and the seminary in Chalki. And let us send our kids to Heritage Greece so that they can reconnect with their cultural past and make it their political future. And let us, the out-of-the-box thinking entrepreneurs of Southern California, be the leaders who help speed Greece's economic recovery. Let us show the United States and Greece that this community, this creative, energetic, entrepreneurial, fun-loving, and thriving community, this community of leaders and benefactors, this community leads the way. If we can do that, then I will feel as if we deserve this award. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Axia.